Do you ever eat all the right things and still feel like nothing is working properly for you? If that's the case, then this session is for you. I am Crystal Taylor, the owner and CEO of Fitness is Not a Game, and you are here on Fitness Friday, where we're going to talk about it's not just what you eat, it's when, why, and how. So that means we're going to break down all three things. It's not just one thing. And I wanted to talk about this today because when it comes to this, and I'm specifically, of course, talking to my ladies in menopause, that's who we are, right? Because we realize now things have changed. Things have changed. So that means that we have to change too. For so long, we've been told that it's what we eat, what we eat, what we eat. But when we're in this phase, right? Perimenopause, menopause, our bodies just respond to food differently. So drink up. If you're here, say hey, let your girl know where you're watching from. If you're catching this on replay, type replay in the chat as usual, right? But let's break it down into all three sections, right? We're going to do the when, the why, and the how, or yeah, the when, the why, and the how. So let's talk about when first. So let me go ahead and address the elephant in the room, because somebody's going to drop it in the chat and say, what about intermittent fasting? What do you think about intermittent fasting? So I'm going to say this. I'm a fan of intermittent fasting for reasons outside of weight loss, right? So many people will do intermittent fasting because they're essentially trying to starve themselves. They're trying to stop themselves from eating so that they can lose weight. I'm not a fan of that. I'm a fan of it for certain health issues, right? When it helps regulate your blood pressure and things like that. I'm a fan of it if you know that, you work well in guidelines, because, that if you keep eating after 8 o'clock, you're going to eat anything. So you just say, you know what, I'm going to stop myself from that. My problem is the whole term intermittent fasting. Like when people put themselves in a box, then they start feeling like they have to act certain ways, if that makes sense. Let me know if that makes sense. But if you just say, you know what, for myself, I'm just going to stop eating at 8, you don't have to call it anything. That's when you just stop, right? So let's just go ahead and put that out there, right? But when we're talking about when you eat overall, as we age, our metabolism changes, period. It slows down, whether we like it or not. And during menopause, our hormones are doing all the things. So our metabolism is decreasing even more, right? And then we're also developing more of an insulin sensitivity, right? So we have to pay attention to when we're eating. Now, I mentioned the 8 o'clock stop for people to eat. I just said 8 o'clock. I didn't say that. Don't go tell nobody that Coach Crystal said you have to stop eating 8 o'clock. Then nobody said that, because everybody's schedule is different, right? Everybody's routine is different. But what typically happens is that late night eating isn't typically late night healthier eating. Most people don't say, oh, let me get that salmon and that steamed broccoli late at night. Now, I would tell y'all the story, and if my girlfriend is watching, she might jump in the comments like, but you did. Look, I just said one night, hung out with my girls. It was our friends' birthdays. And then we went to go get something to eat afterwards. Went to one of the breakfast spots, whatever. I really did have it in my heart and soul that I wanted some pancakes. It's like 2 o'clock in the morning. And I got there, opened the menu, and the salmon and the broccoli and the potatoes actually looked good. So that's what I got. And they laughed at me. They said, you're like the only person who eats salmon at 2 o'clock in the morning. I didn't plan on it, right? Because that's not typical. Most people, if you're sitting around late at night and you get the munchies, you get hungry, you want some snacks, you're not going for that. What are you going for? You drop it in the chat what your late night snack is, right? I'm a savory snacker. So for me, it would be things like popcorn, pretzels, peanuts, chips, things like that, right? For other people, it might be cookies, cakes, pies, muffins, all that type of stuff, right? And sometimes if you're up late, you're like, oh, I realized I didn't eat. And you're hangry and hungry as opposed to just being hungry. So now you're trying to make up for all of those calories that you missed out on, right, during the day. So now you might eat a heavier meal. And sometimes people like to eat a heavier meal because they think it's going to hold them over to tomorrow, so they won't wake up hungry. But the problem is that when you're eating heavier meals, especially if it's late and you're tired, you eat that heavy meal, then go lay down. That's the problem. One, you can't digest it that well. Two, now you realize you probably have heartburn and indigestion and all of that good stuff. Your body can't you're not giving your body a chance to metabolize it, use that energy as it's supposed to be used, because that's what food is supposed to be, right? A source of fuel. So now you're realizing that your weight is creeping up because you threw all of these extra calories in at night and didn't give your body a chance to burn it off. Let me know if that makes sense. And I see chips and or cookies right at the end of the night. That's what y'all eating. So you eat those things and then you realize, and you wonder why you can't sleep well. Your body is struggling to process what you threw in it, right? And it's supposed to figure out how to process this while laying down. So you're not sleeping right. You wake up, you feel heavy, you feel lethargic, you feel your stomach is all sour. Let me know if you've ever felt this. Let me know. I can't be the only one. And I'm gonna say this. And for anybody, if this is your first time catching the video with me, type a 1 in the chat. If you've been around for a while, type a OG. But when I pull my mic close, that means I'm serious and somebody needs to hear this. And I'm going to say it. Y'all, because I said I'm specifically talking to menopausal women, right? We ain't 20 no more. Baby girl, you can't do that no more. You can't. I'll tell you, I used to be one of those back in the day. I would lay in the bed at 2, 3 in the morning after kicking it and eat my burger, my fries, drink my sweet tea, put it on the floor, roll over and go to sleep, wake up next morning, perfectly fine. We ain't there no more. And shout out to all my newbies. Hey, Josh. Hey, Kelly. Hey, Miss Christine. Welcome, y'all. We can't do that anymore. So we have to be cognizant. If you're going to eat that stuff, since we're talking about timing, we're not just talking about late night. A lot of people think that they're supposed to, they like to have a light lunch, right? And have, like I said, a fuller dinner to hold them over to tomorrow. But it's actually supposed to be reversed. You're supposed to have your most calorie dense meal during the day for your lunch so that your body can use that fuel to give you the energy throughout the rest of the day, right? And to absorb it and allow it to do what it's supposed to do. Let me know if that makes sense, all right? Yes, and Ms. Meg says that does make sense, especially making it, looking at food as fuel. Oh, well, I'm glad you're back, Miss Meg. All right. So we want to make sure that when we're eating, we are paying attention to the timing. So let's talk about the timing real quick. I started this whole conversation with intermittent fasting. Let me be clear on this too. Drink up. And for my new folks, when you see me drink water, you drink water as well. Type cheers in the chat. But I started the conversation with intermittent fasting. Let's be clear. We all fast. Fasting just means that your body is taking a break from processing food, from eating. When you go to sleep, you're not eating. That's why they call it breakfast, because you're breaking your fast. All right. So it's all good. Everybody intermittent fast. Ta-da! You happy? You're happy now. But let's talk about the timing of it. Dinner and breakfast should be about 12 hours apart from each other. That's a fast, y'all. All right. And if you think about it, that's what we typically do. If you're eating dinner about 7 to 8, most of us aren't eating breakfast at least until 7 or 8 in the morning. So you're good on that. Then you want to make sure that you're eating like every 3 to 4 hours. You should eat something. And some people are like, well, Chris, I can't eat that frequently. Maybe you're eating too much to be able to eat as frequently as you should, because one of the main reasons why two things. Two of the main reasons why we should eat frequently. One is to keep that metabolism going, right? Because food is fuel, right? So when you're giving your body the fuel that it needs, it's revving that body up to work. Now, you do have to be mindful of the type of fuel that you're putting in your body, but you're giving your body fuel. And I'll tell you this, let's reprogram how we look at food, because a lot of people, when they hear food, first thing that comes to mind, calories. Calories are not bad. Come here, microphone. Calories are not bad. Calories are good. Calories, by definition, are sources of energy. Now, again, don't you go tell nobody that Crystal told you to go eat all the calories, and it doesn't matter what type of calories that you have, because every calorie is not made the same. And there's no such thing as good or bad food, but you want to think about the type of fuel you're putting in your body. And I want you to ask yourself, when I eat this, how do I typically feel afterwards? Not psychologically, but physically. Does it give me energy? Does it make me feel light? Or does it make me feel lethargic? Does it make me feel heavy? Does it block me up? Does it give me the runs? All of those things. Think about that, right? So when you ask yourself, and I see the tears, awesome. So when you ask yourself that question, that answer should guide the decisions you make when you're eating. All right. So that was the first one. You're eating frequently to boost that metabolism. But what also happens is that when we're eating at regular intervals, it's also regulating our blood sugar levels. So you can tell when you're like, man, I'm tired. I'm tired. One, your body doesn't have fuel. And two, just like your car, when you don't give it gas, what does it do? It sputters, right? Your body does the same thing. So we get hangry, we get hungry, then we start eating any and everything. A lot of times they're empty calories. Carbs are your friends too. Somebody type that in the chat. Carbs are my friends, but you have to be mindful of the types of carbs you give your body. So a lot of us will go say, I just need some in my body. And we go get all that refined sugar, and you get that spike, and then you get that crash. But if you're eating regularly and you're eating more complex carbs, then you'll notice that your energy levels are sustainable. Let me know if that's making sense. Yes, carbs are your friends. Look, I love a potato, a baked potato, red potato, white potato, sweet potato, you name it. I love a carb. I love rice, all that good stuff, because that's where we're getting our energy. And depending on the carb, you heard me mention sweet potato, but if we also add quinoa, brown rice, that's also where we're getting our fiber. Fiber is a carb. We need fiber to keep our pipes going. Let me know if this makes sense. Let me know if this makes sense. So that's why we want to make sure that we are eating like every 3 to 4 hours, just to keep. And as I said, maybe you need to decrease how much you're eating, but the goal is not to skip meals in order to save calories, in order to lose weight. No, ma'am, no ham, no turkey. You know, we're talking about carbs. The goal is to make sure that you are properly fueling your body so that you can get through the day. All right. So we talked about the win. So for anybody who's coming in now, hey, I'm Crystal Taylor, owner and CEO of Fitness Tonight Game. We're talking about the when, the why, and the how you should eat, especially during this menopause phase, to help with the bloat, to help with the belly and all of that good stuff. All right. So cheers, drink up. And let's go on to the second level. And if you're ready for the second level, type of 2, because let's talk about why you eat. And I know I just did a whole spiel on why you should eat at certain times, but now I want to switch it to the why that's here. And maybe here. I want you to think about why you specifically eat. And as a matter of fact, type that in the chat. And thank y'all for the 2s. Type that in the chat. Hey, is it Tana? Tana? Let me know if it's Tana. Type a 1 in the chat. If it's Tana, type a 2 in the chat. So I just like to respect what your parents named you. So I just want to make sure I got it right. All right. But I want you to think about why you specifically eat. Do you eat out of emotion? Do you eat out of habit? Tana, okay, cool. Awesome. Do you eat out of emotion? Do you eat out of habit? Do you eat for fuel? I'll say for me, because I personally eat every 3 to 4 hours. Typically, I'm eating because my body needs some fuel, right? It's like, look, girl, it's time. Like I'm looking at the clock now. It's time. I've already had my breakfast and my morning snack. Now it's time for lunch. As soon as we get off of here, I'm eating because it's time. But a lot of people admit that they eat out of emotion, right? Let me know if you feel like you're an emotional eater. And so what's interesting about that is that typically when people talk about being an emotional eater, they're typically leaning towards just being a stress eater. However, there's so many different emotions, boredom, even happiness, right? How many times has something good happened and y'all like, girl, where we going to eat? Dude, let's go somewhere and get something to eat, right? Food is part of our celebrations. Think about the holidays. Those are happy times. We bring food into all of the emotions, but then we also bring them into sad times as well. And I see some of you say you just look, I love me some food. Look, you are supposed to enjoy food. You should. I always feel like food and eating should be an experience. It should. You should enjoy it. Again, be mindful of what you're putting in your body and then the after effects, how that food makes you eat, right? Now, some people, so I said, I do notice I reward myself with food. Yes. Something good. Have you like, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and go get that brownie. You know what? I haven't had that piece of cake in a while. You know what? I haven't had those Southwest egg rolls in a while. That's what we do. But some of us also eat out of habit. If you're sitting on the couch at the end of the day, you just habitually eat while you're watching TV. If you're in the car, you habitually snack. When you're sitting at your desk, you're just habitually eating something. So think about that. So when it's time, when you're about to eat, there we go. That's what I want to say better. When you're about to eat, I encourage you to ask yourself, am I actually hungry or just dot, dot, dot? Like fill in that blank. Sometimes we don't realize it, but you're not hungry, you're actually thirsty. Especially for my people who don't drink a lot of water. Let me ask you this. How much water y'all drinking a day? Put it in the chat. Oh, look, spending money. You're right. That's a whole nother topic. But let me know in the chat how much water you're drinking. Because you're supposed to drink about half of your body weight in ounces each day. So if you're 200 pounds, you should be drinking about 100 ounces of water. Are you drinking enough? So your body, you think your body's saying, girl, you need something to eat, when your body might be telling you, girl, you are dehydrated. And drinking that water helps with a lot of things, right? One, it helps all the organs because your entire body is made up of water. Your brain, your skin, your hair, your nails, your bones, everything is made of water. But it also helps you to digest that food, helps your body to absorb the nutrients from the food that you're eating. Okay, I see 80 ounces. I see 64 ounces. Hey, Miss Kawana. All right. So I want you to be more aware of if you're eating because you're hungry, if you're eating because it's been a few hours and you realize you need to refuel, or if you're bored, or if you're sad, or if you're tired, or if you're happy, right? Because celebrating does not always have to include food. Allow yourself to celebrate, but just make sure that you're not allowing that celebration to push you back on your goals. When you getting up the next day, like, oh, I can't believe I ate all that. How many times have y'all had that? Like, did I really eat all of that yesterday? Because we know that when we're celebrating and sitting around with our friends and talking, that's the habitual eating thing too. Sometimes you're not even hungry, but you're constantly just putting food in your mouth because you're yucking it up, right? So Miss Meg says, I don't know how much water I drink, but it's probably not enough. So with that, I say drink up. All right. So we talked about when you eat, why you eat. Let's go on to talking about how you eat, right? And some tips. So we've talked about some of the things that I want you to consider, some things that we may be doing in not the best manner, but I don't want to just poke the bear and talk about the things that we're doing wrong. Y'all want some strategies. If you want some strategies, type a 3 in the chat. And let me tell you how you should eat. And cheers. I'm drinking my water, y'all. And I don't have a clue how much water I drink, but at one point I drink. Well, I do drink so much water, but my doctor they thought I was diabetic because I drank so much water. But my body's just trained for it now. I see the 3s. Cool. So let's talk about what you can do. when we don't eat as frequently as we should, I mentioned that um, not eating as frequently as we should can slow down your metabolism, right? And a lot of people, oh, let me know in the chat, how many times do you eat a day? Let me know. I'm curious. Because like I said, not eating frequently enough is slowing down our metabolism. What also happens is too many of us wait until we're hungry and it has switched over to being hangry to finally decide to eat. When that happens, oh, twice a day, come, 2 to 3, come on, y'all, look. And let me know in the chat why you're only eating 2, maybe 3 times a day. And I know a lot of people say, I just be busy, I forget to eat. Y'all see this mic coming close? If that's the case, that's when, we really have to focus on making sure that we're prepared. And I don't know if you know this or not, but every Saturday morning at 10:30, I'm live on my YouTube page doing a segment called In the Kitchen with Crystal. And the reason why I do it is because I want to show you all how easy and quick meal prep can be, because so many people skip meals because they're busy. I see work in there, right? So I encourage you to subscribe to the page, check out some of the videos, because I even throw snacks in there too. But I encourage you all to do that. And I see that not planning, because what happens is we wait. And somebody says, yes, I do wait. I realize I am hungry by the time I'm eating. By the time we get to that point, we'll eat almost anything. Because you're getting hangry, you're getting tired, you're getting frustrated, and you're just like, I don't care, whatever. Like one day, like I got caught slipping. How? I don't know, because I keep snacks everywhere. You can catch me almost anytime you see me. I got a protein bar in my purse, in the armrest of my car. I got peanuts. I got I got all the things. I always got snacks. This particular day, I don't remember why I didn't have it, right? And I got so hungry. I wanted some McDonald's. What? Who over 25 really wants that? Right? But I did at that moment. I said, girl, you are tripping. But luckily, because I had planned, I remembered, oh, you already have, I think I had a salad or something I had already prepped in the refrigerator waiting for me at home. I was like, oh, you can wait 15, 20 minutes. Go ahead and get home and eat your salad. But that doesn't happen all of the time for everybody. So we have to make sure that we are planning out. And and this is also another reason why I do In the Kitchen with Crystal. Don't get caught up in what you see on social media for meal prep. Meal prep does not mean that you have to have all 21 meals and 17 snacks ready. That does not equal meal prep. It doesn't have to. For some people, that's great. But for most people, we're so busy where just having a few things prepped is great. That is a win. So I encourage you to think about the times that you would typically skip a meal or when you might be the hungriest and prep for that. One of the easiest ways to meal prep is to just make more when you do cook. So when you make dinner tonight, make a little extra so you can have lunch tomorrow or another dinner tomorrow. Right? Try something simple just to keep you on track. Let me know if that makes sense, and let me know if that's feasible for you. And don't think that you have to prep for the entire week. Maybe you know what? I usually I'm hungry and I should have some snacks. So prep a couple of days at a time. So you know what? Or a lot of people skip breakfast because I'm busy in the morning. I'm running around and I just run out the door. Okay, take a day, prep 2 or 3 breakfast items. I love, for my people on the go, I love anything in a tortilla. You put it in tortilla, I'm going to eat it. So what I'll do sometimes, I'll just make a few breakfast wraps, throw them in the refrigerator or throw them in the freezer. So in the morning, you can just throw it in the microwave and keep on going. They're great to just keep eating in the car. But it is about thinking ahead and say, you know what, I want to do better and I can do better. And it doesn't have to be difficult. All right. So just making a couple of them will get you on track. And guess what? In those days when you eat breakfast, your body's going to be happy. You'll notice that you're happier, you're calmer, all of that good stuff. And then your body will start craving it. So on those days where you think you're going to skip, your body's like, no, ma'am, you've been giving me breakfast. I want some more. All right. So that's a bonus tip. Wasn't planning on saying that, but somebody needs to hear that. And if that was you, say, type in the chat, that was me. And thank you, right? But I say all of that because when we wait until we get hungry, that is like a stress response because now we're rushing when we're eating. We're eating all the things. We're eating fast because we're super hungry. And that can impair your digestion again and even the satisfaction. Let me know how many times you probably not even how many times, you can't count. But let me know if you've ever eaten just to eat and you realize like you weren't even satisfied with it. You're like, I could have saved them calories. That's what you tell yourself, like, for real. That's what I ate. But I had to eat something, or I was gonna pass out. Or I had to eat something, I was gonna fight somebody. Right? We've all been there. But when you are eating at regular intervals, you're planning out and you get to actually enjoy it. So that's when I like to incorporate what the term, that the trending term now, mindful eating. What is mindful eating? Mindful eating is when you make the decision to eat, you make the decision to be present, and make the decision to actually enjoy and be aware of what you're eating. So for some people, that is very hard because that means stepping away from your screens, not eating at your desk, not eating with your phone in your hand. I've seen it way too many times. Phone in the one hand, fork in the other. Let me know if that's you. I'm talking to somebody. I'm just saying. But when you're practicing mindful eating, you're using all of your senses. Your food, you're looking at how it looks, right? The different colors, you're smelling it, the texture when you put it in your mouth, you're actually tasting it. You take a bite, you put down your hands, put down your fork, spoon, whatever, and you allow yourself to chew and actually see if you really like it. You get to savor those flavors, right? And now what else happens that you'll notice is that you'll start listening to your body. You'll hear your body say, girl, I think we've had enough. Even if there's still some on your plate or in your bowl. Because when we're mindlessly eating, we're not paying attention. I say answering emails as you eat. Your brain is so focused on replying to those emails that your body, your brain can't even hear what your body and your belly is trying to tell it. So you see the food there, so you keep eating it. Take a bite, type. Take a bite, type. And you might find that when you're done, you're like, oh, I feel bloated because you ate too long. Because you weren't practicing mindful eating to hear your body saying, girl, okay, chill, that's enough. Because your body needs a good 20 to 30 minutes to process the food that you put into it. Too often we want to eat until we're full, until we think we're satisfied, when you're supposed to eat about 80% of the way and sit back and give it some time. Sit back, drink some water, and then see if you still need or want some more after 20 to 30 minutes, right? You don't want to get to the point where you have to, shuffle your pants around or unbutton your pants because you ate too much, right? So I see in the comments says, I think in America, our portion sizes are so ridiculous. Most of us don't know how to portion down our serving, so we don't think we're getting enough food. We need to retrain our brains and tummies. Amen, amen. That is a whole fact. That is a whole fact. We think everything is bigger and better. But when your plate is bigger, so is your back. And then you want to get mad. Right? So that's why, it's amazing how when you go to the stores now, they sell these huge plates, huge bowls, huge everything. And the way our brain works is that when we see these huge plates, we feel the need to fill the plates Because if not, our brains think we don't have enough. So this is an extra tip. One of the best things I did after I had my second son, because after I had my second son, I felt like I was really struggling. I was struggling to lose the weight. I couldn't understand what my body was doing. It was just like, it was just fighting all the things. And then one day I said, you know what? I'm just going to eat off a smaller plate. Voila. And on top of it, leave one bite of everything. Voila. Body start changing, weight start coming off, inches started shrinking. But we keep saying we need bigger and better when we don't necessarily need bigger or more of anything. But we do need to listen to our bodies. And when we're practicing that mindful eating, you're paying attention, saying, you know what, this is enough. It really is. So I have a coaching program, and in that they get exercises. I use an app. They get exercises, meal plans, and we also do challenges, right? So we'll do like a month-long challenge, a few weeks or whatever. And I don't remember which month it was. Maybe it was January. But I did one that was all about nutrition, all about how they eat, because I know that how we eat and what we eat, that's the biggest struggle that most people face when it comes to being healthier and losing weight, whatever. So one of the things I challenged them to do was to practice mindful eating, no screens while they eat. And one of my clients said, Crystal, Coach, that was one of the best things I've ever done. She said, I actually sat at my table, made a place setting, my plate, my fork, my knife, had my glass of water, and I didn't have my phone. I didn't have my computer. And I sat there and I savored my food. And I realized that I was eating too fast and I was eating way too much prior to that. So because of that, now she has, even though that was a couple months ago, she continues to do that because she realized she felt so much better afterwards, because she wasn't eating to the point where she felt full and bloated, lethargic, locked up, all of that good stuff, right? So I challenge you all to practice that mindful eating. And some of you may have already eaten lunch, because I know it's lunch time. But I challenge you today for dinner. I want you to practice mindful eating. No screens. No, eat in front of the TV. Don't eat checking your emails. Don't eat with your phone in your hand. But I want you to actually take in the colors, the textures, the tastes, the smells, and listen to your body to see when you're actually almost full, when you're almost satisfied, and to stop. And then let me know how it worked for you and how you feel. All right? Can you do that? Who's down for that challenge of practicing mindful eating on today? Now, if you have plans to go out with your friends or whatever, that might be a little challenging. If you can't do it today for dinner, I want you to try it at least tomorrow. If you're in, let me know. Say, I'm in, Crystal. Let me know in the chat. All right? So we just went through when you should eat. Stop skipping these meals, please, 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 please. It's slowing down your metabolism. It's throwing you off. We talked about why you eat, right? Think about, are you really hungry, or is it an emotion? Are you hungry, you bored, you happy? And then I just told you how you should eat, right? Practice that mindful eating. I'm so happy that y'all said y'all in. I love it. Let me know how it all goes for you. I'm telling you, you're going to see a change. And I know for a lot of people it's difficult. And I'll even add myself into that, because I will admit there was a time where I felt like I sat at this desk all day and ate every single meal at this desk, right? And I had to start challenging myself to say, you know what, step away from the desk and actually enjoy your food. Because, that may be how we've been doing things for a long time. But if you are in that menopausal phase, or just, as we're aging, you may notice that it's not working the same way anymore. We can't do the things that we had done before and still expect the results that we've gotten before. we have to make some changes. We have to make some shifts. All right. And then when we make those shifts, and they don't think that they have to be huge shifts. Making these small shifts can give you huge changes and huge results. All right. So I'm gonna let y'all go on this Good Friday. It's not Good Friday. I'm just saying it is a Good Friday because we breathing, right? We on the other side of the earth. So that makes it a doggone fantabulous Friday in my eyes. But I hope you found this helpful. If you found this helpful, type a yes in the chat. What I'm also doing is for my ladies who are in menopause, close to menopause, perimenopause, you think you might be in menopause, you like, because I don't know what the heck is going on with my body. I am doing a training on Tuesday. Come check it out. It's free. We're talking about 6 shifts I want you to make. So that you just feel better during menopause period. And it's not just about food. We talk about food, but you can sign up. It's free. Just go to losemenopauseweight.com. I believe the link is in the description. Hopefully y'all come share with your friends, because at this point we need all the help that we can get. So that's why I like to do these trainings, just to help you with those shifts that are going to help you feel better, because this can be a rough time. This can be a rough time. So with that being said, y'all have an amazing day, an amazing and fantabulous Friday. And if you have to go outside, please be safe, because I just want you healthy. I want you happy, and I want you here. So I will see you next time.